Hello, my name is Kayla Sanchez, and this is my submission for the assignment, Ethical Issues and Research Surrounding Communication. Effective holistic healthcare is collaborative and requires active communication efforts. Healthcare professionals will work with a variety of individuals, both patients and colleagues, and will experience various points of view. These points of view can contribute to the advancement of patient care if foundational principles are followed. Healthcare professionals must understand that communication moves in two directions, involves active engagement, and requires an environment where all individuals feel safe to contribute. Providers should be open to providing and receiving feedback. Healthcare professionals will need to build trust and respect to foster openness and transparency from the people they communicate with. Finally, communication needs to be clear, accurate, and understandable. Providers need to make an effort to provide truthful, accurate information and should avoid jargon or other unnecessary wording that could lead to communication breakdowns or misunderstandings. There are several ethical implications in human research. Above all, researchers must always show respect for their research participants and treat them like live human subjects. I will discuss 4 major ethical concepts that will help researchers achieve this: autonomy, beneficence, non-malfeasance, and justice. First, voluntary informed consent must be obtained before a study begins. Patients need to know what the research entails, including benefits and possible risks, to ensure respect for patient autonomy. Patient autonomy says that patients have the right to control what happens to their own body. Next, researchers must consider beneficence and non-malfeasance. Beneficence says that researchers will keep the participants' best interest in mind. It is a healthcare provider's duty to promote a patient's health and well-being. Non-malfeasance says that researchers will not cause intentional harm. If a study is harming a patient, or if the risks outweigh the benefits, the study should be discontinued. Aligning with these ethical considerations, patients should always be treated with dignity. Researchers should never unnecessarily degrade or humiliate patients. Patients have the right to a certain level of privacy and/or confidentiality to protect their identity and personal information. Justice says that research participants should be treated fairly. Every person, despite their race, gender, or socioeconomic status, should have access to research opportunities. Also, vulnerable populations should be protected. For example, patients with severe cognitive disabilities require consent from a parent or a legal guardian before participating in research. It is important that healthcare professionals stay within their own scope of practice when communicating with patients, families, and other providers. Healthcare professionals are experts in their own fields, but should not attempt to offer advice in areas outside of their field. Healthcare providers should have a quality understanding of their own scope of practice and the limitations to their care and advice. This is something I review periodically as the scope of practice in my field of occupational therapy expands over time. It can also be helpful for healthcare providers to learn about other healthcare sectors. When I'm working closely with other healthcare professionals outside of my field, I ask questions about their roles and responsibilities so that I can respect their positions and rights on the team. This also helps me to understand where to direct my patients and family members when their questions are not related to my field. I'm not afraid to admit that I don't have all the answers, and I don't feel obligated to answer questions outside of my field. I respectfully tell patients, family members, and coworkers who they can direct their questions to. This ensures that they get the most accurate information. When writing a formal correspondence to communicate information and ideas, I follow a few different procedures. First, I double or triple check to make sure that the information I'm providing is current, accurate, and supported with references if needed. This helps me to avoid fraud and plagiarism. And if I realize I've made a mistake, I always send a follow-up correspondence with the correct information. I also make sure that my writing is professional and serious. For example, I would not add emojis, text type abbreviations, or slang to professional written communication. In order to keep my audience, I also tend to keep my correspondence as short as possible while providing all of the important information. It is important not to go off on tangents or add any unnecessary information. I have found that people respond better to short emails and seem to miss information when I write a longer email. Next, it's important to keep correspondence respectful. Like I said before, communication goes in two directions. A disrespectful encounter can cause a communication breakdown. Last, I like to set a deadline for myself to submit information or to respond to others. This ensures that my communications are delivered in a timely manner. I hope this information was valuable. Thank you for watching.